It's the big three, and every week we've been taking it step by step with each and every passing higher term time frame closure in documenting what is this reversal going to look like on Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. That is focus of today as we take the next step in this overall series of steps, perhaps even leading to the big one, the big bad one, which probably is going to be really decided by Bitcoin, but we'll be focused on Solana first, then Ethereum, and then of course the big Bitcoin after that. In fact, a pretty big development on Bitcoin with yesterday night's Friday closure. Maybe I'll make a little bit more of a dedicated video for that tomorrow, but we'll mention it today. Anyways, first things first, let's start off with Solana. Solana, last week we were looking at the potential for a higher low on the daily time frame, and indeed Solana has put in that higher low right here and has reapproached that last prior high. So in this case, it is going to be a little more biased towards an upside breakout, just because when you get a series of higher lows, that is usually an indication that strength or buyers are strengthening. And while I still would like to actually see Solana trade and close above 163.5 on a higher term time frame, or at least a daily minimum, to kind of say that, hey, this is this one's ready to roll back up to like $200 probably plus. Things are looking more and more better here as I reference my notes. So what I do want to now go into is a higher term time frame relative to the daily time frame, and we can see on the 5-day time frame right here, which we did just get a new closure a little bit early this week, and we'll get another one on Monday. We do see the potential actually for a higher low coming in from the early October lows right here. On a closing low, it was about 145. If we go to a line chart, I think it's a little bit more easy to see. And again, reversal confirmed if it can trade back above that last prior high. So ultimately 163.5, still that big bad number to be aware of. Above there, it's hard not to imagine that this thing goes for, a run towards 190 relatively quick, probably 200, probably, just goes on for a run from that, if and when that does happen, but still pending that actual closure and breakout. Back on over here for the weekly stochastic momentum, we have been following this trend line as well. This one's still holding, and I do think that it deserves some recognition that it has been holding quite well because, well, this same area that has seen the weekly stochastic all sort of bounce, once, twice, thrice, and this would be time number 4 here, has led to some pretty massive lows for Solana. We're talking about the lows back in June of 2023, again in October of 2023 before this mega run. This is also a pretty decent run right here as well. More recently in July of this year, and then again double basing on some divergence as well for this current potential low. So still, again, if I do want to be like super like anal about it, I want to see Solana close above about 163.5, and at that point, yeah, this thing is very much ready, especially with volatility reads like this, which is the lowest volatility for the longest amount of time that we've really ever seen Solana ever, maybe only comparable with April to May of last year, before preceding this mega run over here, and then perhaps actually this last breakdown in 2022 as well. Again, volatility is direction neutral after all, but just indicates the severity of move, and in this case, have to be biased towards the upside, especially with momentum kind of looking the way that it does as of right now. But still, again, 163.5, that's the big number to be aware of. Oh, and then also, I made a note of this as well. The monthly time frame, by the way, the monthly time frame right here is going to have a chance to close and twist monthly momentum back up to the upside, which we haven't seen happen freshly since literally, 2023. If Solana closes this month, which still has another 11 or 12 days left to go, so a long time to be fair, but 154.5 would be the number to beat. So if Solana does close above there, but doesn't close above 163.5, that would still make me biased towards an overall upside resolution. But I suspect that if Bitcoin, if Solana is going to choose the upside route, we do see it emerge before the end of this month, so this will probably be a moot point, but it is interesting to see that it is right at that balancing point as well. Moving on from there, Ethereum I do think is still rather interesting, again basing off of the same area that we had marked off for quite some time. Took its time, to be fair as well. I mean, this has been a base that's been building ever since August of this year, as it kind of gets extremely tight within this region, and also basing off of the same area that has provided the lows once, twice, thrice, and 4 times over here as well. we're talking about like the June 2022 lows, the current cycle lows, December 2022, and then October 2023, and then again here in September 2024. More importantly, we do see a similar weekly stochastic oscillator trend line coming in from these last few major lows. And again, we do see that same sort of potential here for another big bounce off this region, and will be turning up from a very, very low level and remaining with upside momentum as long as Ethereum's closing above 2280 or 2282 to be super exact. Which right now it is well above, let's say. We've all seen crazier things than, a $400 move in Ethereum over the course of 2 days, but if we're going to see another $400 move, I suspect that there's a little bit more likely to come to the upside than not. If and when Ethereum does actually break out and put in that highly coveted higher high, which would just need to trade and close above your September highs right here at 27.29 and a half. At that point, I would be looking for Ethereum to at minimum go on for a run towards the 50% retracement level here, which I mean that's extremely likely. Sorry, let's actually use this one over here. This one being a little bit more lenient, but at least 3100. At the 50% retracement level right here, anywhere between there and the 618 at 3330-ish basically. So somewhere in this pocket right here, I would be looking for on a relatively quick run, probably a bit of a pullback there, and then potential for higher after that. But here's also another thing to be aware of on Ethereum pending this week's closure. We do see some potential for phantom regular bullish divergence and also an inverted herp and derp on the weekly RSI with your left derp, your head derp, and then your right derp right here. And again, I actually put a lot more weight on patterns on the RSI rather than price action. I see them fail more often on price action than I do on RSI. So again, that would be a pretty damn good indication. What else? Again, weekly time frame has a real chance here to put in a higher low. Confirmed, especially above 2,800. It's going to start to look like this thing really does want to run to the upside and join the rest of the market, perhaps. But it's going to run more than Solana. I mean, if Ethereum actually is kind of in a good position right here in the short term, to be honest, compared to Solana. But we'll see. Again, it all probably just depends on whatever Bitcoin does anyways, because that's typically what happens in this market, especially with Bitcoin dominance now nearly at 59%. Not bad. But Bitcoin on CME here did something very, very critical yesterday on Friday's closure. So it closed out the week above the 38.2 level. And while I don't know if I necessarily expect like a big move over the weekend, it could definitely happen on a setup like this. But that was kind of my major area. Like, hey, if there is like even if there is some sort of a chance of a major fake out and back down, it would have very likely happened at this region right here, 68,100. That did not occur. In fact, Bitcoin closing on CME at 68, almost 800. So I would be looking for Bitcoin very likely over the next week, maybe 2 weeks, to make a run up here, basically retesting per all-time highs. I do think that that's a lot more likely to occur now than anything else. Again, amongst many other things that we've put out over the past few weeks now, as far as statistical models do go. But this one just using the HPDR suite of indicators, we can see HPDRO taking back in officially to positive territory, and HPDRV coming off of extreme lows that really have been baking since April of this year. So, if there ever was a time for a major breakout, this would be it, and it would favor the upside. So yeah, I'm trying to come up with, another way of looking at things, because I do realize that just about everyone and their mother is bullish as fuck on this market right now, which does make me a little bit concerned. Not that it's necessarily like the best heuristic to be going off of, but what could happen that would make me say, whoa, okay, this really is a fake out, and this is fucked. I mean, at this point, if Bitcoin traded below this week's low, that would be pretty obvious, I guess. If Bitcoin traded below last week's low, that would be extremely obvious, but that's significantly further down, so not super helpful. Maybe if Bitcoin closed a daily or even a weekly below like $66,000, I'd start to be a little more concerned. But I suppose we'll see. Perhaps we really are in that portion of the market which the Pazzinos refer to as the winner's curse, which is usually the last phase of the market cycle where everyone is bullish and everyone gets to be right. Essentially together, basically at the same time. So Can that happen? Does that happen? Yeah. I mean, just look at end of 2017. Just look at beginning of or end of 2021. These times do occur. So I suppose if there ever was a time, I guess this is it. Makes me a little bit more. What's the word that I'm looking for? Nah, I'll save that topic for another video because I keep on getting these fucking questions about this and I don't want to get another goddamn crazy. Hey, could you clarify your views on when you think the market's going to end? It's like, we will get there. We will fucking get there, sir. Don't you worry. Not that doing that kind of shit is easy. Anyways, that's a good place for me to be leaving off on this video. Let's actually see what Bitcoin's level is for tomorrow on spot price action. Oh, wow. Top of the 38.2 level is at prior all-time high. Yeah. So very, very interesting right there as well. Yeah. Bitcoin wants to make a run. This would probably be it, I suppose. And yeah, the only major cause for concern is like below this week's low, I guess. Maybe $66,000 if you want to be a little bit more conservative, but fair enough. All right. That's it for today. As always, I want to wish you the best of best. Take care. Much love. And see you hopefully tomorrow.